Soul matters. Once, when Phyllis was in deep trance, she was taken before the nine. At first they had manifested as venerable old men, but when she asked them to show her what they were really like, they turned into balls of light that were like pure energy, but with a soul. Perhaps that's what a soul looks like, Andrew said when he heard of this. Perhaps that's what they are, all soul and no body. Phyllis then explained what they had shown her. They took like the negative and positive forces or energy and they showed. Now, if you're so positive and you spin, they showed me this energy spinning and it keeps spinning so fast it gets light and it disappears. And the negative also spins, but with it spinning it picks up other stuff and it gets dark. It's an energy that gets dark and then it falls. And they showed me that neither one of those was good, because the way they were going, that soul was out of line. Or balance, Andrew had suggested. Out of balance, right. Phyllis agreed. Andrew said, that's interesting. And he tried to make scientific sense of Phyllis imagery, in terms of spinning leading to increased velocity and eventually to disappearance into another dimension. Once Tom was answering a question on reincarnation when he said, a reason that you do not remember your preceding times is because of the atmosphere of the planet. The following exchanges concern matters of the chakras, birth and death, reincarnation and healing, and all in relation to the soul, with which we start. Andrew, we do not understand the way in which you use the words soul and spirit. I wonder if you could clarify the distinction. Tom, there are actually three. Andrew, is that what you call mind, soul and spirit? Tom, yes. And when you blend them completely, then you are pure energy, which is pure soul. Andrew, I see. Now what is spirit as differentiated from the other two? Tom, spirit is the soul that manifests both in your physical world and in the atmosphere of your physical world. Andrew. In other words. Tom. It is a vehicle. Andrew, those that have any relationship to an astral body or the etheric body. Tom, yes. It is the astral. Andrew, right. Now mind, is that part connected with the brain, or is that part connected with the spirit, or with the soul? Tom, the mind is connected with the soul. Andrew, I see, from previous discussions we understood that the etheric body seems to be. Tom, it is the soul cover. Andrew, the soul cover, right, so these are distinct functions of the human personality, the mind related to the soul, the spirit related to the body, and the soul of course is independent if it is not in the body. Tom, yes. Andrew, but if it is connected with the body, it is connected to the etheric body. Tom, right. John, could you go a little further on the relationship between mind and soul? Tom, mind is the intelligence of the soul. Andrew, this sounds like a stupid question, but I have no idea what the etheric body looks like. Is it something that is wrapped around our physical body, or is it alongside our physical body? Tom, there are two bodies, the astral body and the etheric body, and including the one you see, which is physical, there are actually three bodies. The etheric stands outside the astral and is similar to an envelope, but that is not a correct term. I will explain in another manner. If you had an egg, inside that egg would be a chick, which would be a physical thing. Then around that chick would be a membrane which adheres to that chick. That would be the astral. The shell would be the etheric. Andrew, very good, so they are envelopes. Thank you very much, that helps enormously. Tom, we would like to explain something to you in relationship to the life energy that must be funneled upward. There are not, as you understand it, 7 chakras. This is not true. There are truly 9 chakras. When these chakras and the root chakra is open, this creates the furnace fire. When you generate this upward, there are those who think they are sending it up and out and it is going into the ether, and then they do not understand why they have cravings and desires. What is actually happening? The energy is being trapped in their astral body and then it is flowing downward all over their body, and this again creates more of a furnace. It is necessary to get this energy up into the 9th chakra and project it out through the etheric body. Andrew, may I just ask, the location of that 9th chakra? Tom, it would be at the top of your head. It is where? What you call your silver cord. But that is not where the silver cord is truly located. Ron, on this subject, I have some rather esoteric questions. What I'd like to do is to read a portion of something that came through my head and ask if it is correct, and then ask further questions. Is that all right? Tom, yes. Ron, in the beginning, it's kind of a genesis, the one breathed breathless by itself and turning inward upon itself the tension was one and became the manifold all. Varying densities and intensities of matter and spirit, with the potential to become one union. The nine, the civilizations, humanity and the other kingdoms are each part of all that is. The infinite creation in its totality is the one infinite being. The one being which is aware of itself to the extent that its different aspects are aware of themselves as part of all that is. The nine is the crown chakra, where God's will is known. The hierarchy of the civilizations is the heart chakra, where God's love wisdom is expressed. Humanity is the throat chakra. What the whole is unknown, it is the mystery. As the head, heart and throat chakras open completely to be their becoming for God, so it is a process of becoming aware of itself. Tom, at this stage of your knowledge we cannot explain to you the true understanding of the universe. What you have received comes not from us but from the civilizations who also do not have full understanding. It is in portion of truth but it is not complete, and it would be very difficult to give you an explanation. For knowledge can be conveyed in words but wisdom sounds foolish and it is not able to be conveyed in such a way. But it is acceptable to us that you convey these thoughts to those to whom you speak. Ron, yes, thank you. What I would like to know is the significance of the throat chakra in terms of the great solar one being, in terms of humanity and in terms of the individual human being. Tom, that deals with your physicalness. I will have a consultation. Council have asked that I convey this to you in the need to have tangible structures that they can relate to. Human beings in extending their understanding have used the term chakra but it is really a matter of different levels of the soul. Do you understand? Ron, the different chakras that are opening are different levels of soul. Tom, yes. Ron, manifesting through us. Tom, how can we explain? We are not of the crown chakra. When a soul is born it is in the first chakra. From that moment onwards it strives to reach that is of us, do you understand? Ron, yes. Tom, in each of its reincarnations in different civilizations and also upon Earth, it goes through a process. There are those that may remain in the first chakra for many incarnations and there are those that, in their understanding that power for self accomplishes nothing, may generate and go into the third chakra, bypassing the second chakra. All are striving to return to us as fast as possible. Individual humanity is not of the throat chakra. It is only when all of humanity has understanding that together it can become of the fourth chakra. Council have said that you spoke of the throat chakra. I am sorry, but it is of the fourth, the heart chakra, and then humanity may evolve en masse. Do you understand what we are attempting to explain? Ron, yes, I think so. Tom, also understand that a soul could be in what you would call the first chakra, and if it has only the glory of the universe in its life, in its motivation, then it may come immediately to us. Since you must have something that you can relate to in order for you to have understanding in your world, let me just say that there are not pigeonholes, therefore please do not attempt to pigeonhole. You have an essence of truth. It has limitations but it will be of service, yes. John, there was another question we were talking about. That is about humor. We have humor in our world. I'm wondering if in your reality you have humor yourselves. Tom, God could not have survived without being able to laugh at himself. Andrew, when God laughs, what happens in the universe? Is everything shaken? Tom, everything shines. Andrew, shines. I see. Now, to which function is humor related, to the mind, soul or spirit? Tom, it is related to the mind, which then in turn feeds energy to the soul. John, most of our humor is based on our physical existence and the funniness of its situations. Tom, we have cosmic humor. The universe is funny. Israel, I would like to know the difference, if there is one, between ego and pride. Tom, it is ego that creates pride, and it is pride that makes ego. In the universe, there is no difference, but upon earth they create a difference. We will attempt to explain. If you do not ask for help, it is your pride and your independence that keep you from asking. Is this not so? It is also your ego, saying I am independent and I need no one. Is that not so? It is one and the same. It is necessary to have ego for existence, but remember that there is the negative ego, as there is the positive ego. And ego must be in a balanced state. It is pride that takes the ego out of balance. It is necessary to have ego, it is of spirit. It is when the ego becomes a pride-filled thing that it becomes a problem. And if the ego becomes limp and like a dish rag, and permits itself to be stamped into the ground, then that is not good either. Peter, I have been working on the split between what I would call body, mind, heart and soul, and it would appear that an enormous number of people allow the conscious mind to overrule the heart continuously. This seems invariably to lead to a path away from consciousness. Tom, you have come upon a truth and an awakening. You see, when science became strong, then it eliminated and ruled out the true self of humankind, its intuitive self, its self of love and heart. It is time for the returning to that, for science placed humankind in holes of pigeons, categorized them, labeled them, and put them in a situation such that all people began to think of them in that way. Those scientific beliefs then led to a pattern of mass thinking. Peter, what I have observed is that if people make choices, often it is the mind that tends to make the choice rather than the intuition or soul. Thus one comes into life for a purpose, but the mind overrules the purpose of the soul. Tom, because science and humankind conditioned themselves to fear to appear foolish, science made the decision that believe in universal love, consciousness and the Creator, for the truth is you are the Creator, was not realistic. Thus they lost touch with reality, and humanity was then conditioned to permit its mind to rule it. Peter, the continual question for me is, that given these 2 points, is it possible to offer the opportunity of consciousness to people who don't wish, in their heads, to seek it? Or is it possible only with those who are willing to take a step towards consciousness by becoming more spiritually aligned? Tom, there are those who do not comprehend, neither wish to know. Do not waste your time. John, with regards to reincarnation, it's sometimes said that we have an overly simplistic concept of a soul entering a new body on a number of occasions, and it seems to be rather more complex than that. I wonder if you could possibly describe the point at which the separation takes place. What reincarnates and what does not, in terms of the relationship between the personality and the soul? Tom, that is a great elaborate dissertation. It is very difficult to explain in human terms because of your egos. However, we will give you a small sample. As an example, your son is now begot from you. Therefore a portion that is you is within him. Therefore if your son had been begotten from you many times, in different lives, then there would be a stronger proportion of you within him, then perhaps next time it would be as if both of you were the same person. Do you understand? John, yes. So a little piece of each incarnation goes along, so there are complex patterns. Tom, it is as atoms grow with atoms. It is not that this soul is encapsulated, and then it floats away on its own and encapsulates itself in another physical entity. John, is it possible then that if one takes someone like Napoleon from history, 2 or 3 people might think they are a reincarnation of Napoleon, because they each have a piece of that? Tom, that is correct. But there is also a symptom upon earth which arises when there is not good health in the mind. They may tune into that consciousness and believe they are of it. There is a fine line, as you say. John, is it also true to say that there's probably one person who carries more of that than any of the others? Tom, that is correct. Yes. John, okay, that helps very much. Tom, who of humankind would want to understand that? For the ego of humankind resents the fact that somebody could be a portion of them. John, it seems that the concept of reincarnation would be very important for people to understand in order to grasp their full responsibility, but religion, or at least the Christian tradition, resists that. How can that be broken down? Tom, that is one of the processes that will be of great importance to develop in the future. It is important to prepare this information for those who wish for it.